successfully. I would hope so. Let's see, capture option. We'll check something real quick. Okay then. Alright, I see my video on YouTube on the phone to make sure I hear my voice. There we go. And I guess we're good. Because I had previous issues of um, trying to hear my audio on a video or whatever. Uh, that previous videos that I made, you can hear no audio. Now I know. Now that I know that it's working or whatever. Not only Fallout, but Elder Scrolls 6 is, I guess, accordingly what I've heard, has been forced to be made. The thing is, I hope they don't really do it in a hurry because we want it that bad enough for it to not be so great. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, they could at least gave Todd Howard a little more time. I mean, I've already speculated. Like I never made a video about this part in general, but I thought I had an idea of. I thought maybe Todd will actually see. He said he didn't have the technology to do it. I mean, he does now, but now I'm starting to wonder if it's for next gen console, like beyond the new Xbox and the PS5. It's probably going to be on PS6 and the new Xbox or whatever. But any of that matter. But that's besides the point. Okay, so I had a theory that will the Elder Scrolls 6 show any of case of the dwemer coming back? In my opinion, I think no, but yes at the same time. I think maybe they'll have like a cliffhanger at the end that somehow or some form of something that the dwemer could come back, or it might be the main general narrative. But I doubt it. But I'm pretty sure they'll continue the story where the Silver War and who won and all that, and then right after the Dragonborn stuff, and we don't even know what time period it's supposed to be based in. I know it's after the Dragonborn, but how many years are we far off from that? You get what I'm saying? Oh, the idea. And I know a lot of Elder Scrolls lore, but not really too deep compared to other like lore heads like on the big YouTube communities and stuff like that. Um, but if you like the video, give a like, a comment, or any of that matter of my opinion, which would, in my interpretation, I think it would make sense. Just ignore that. That's my phone. That's what I got on the text or whatever. Yeah, just ignore that. But anyway, okay. So I had this crazy theory, and it all started with the College of Winterhold when it came to this idea. Okay, so let's start off with the College of Winterhold. Okay, in Skyrim. All right, so you go to the college, you do some mage quests, then you are basically sent off to the under basement of the college, which I forgot what that was called or whatever. Um, but they have a Daedric Forge underground the College of Winterhold. Okay. Now this is what gets weird, which it didn't make sense to me. But then again, it like kind of dawned on me, and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute." why is there a Daedric Forge underneath the College of Winterhold? And you can actually get Daedric weapons and armor, etc., by trading with it. But what gets me is that why do you have to give dwemer equipment to exchange for Daedric equipment? See, at first I was like, okay, this doesn't make sense. Why do they not want? Why is it they want this? Like, what? Why is this? Like, what does the dwemer got to do with anything Daedric? And I sat there and I sat there and I thought for a while that's very strange. I don't think. As far as my knowledge, I haven't ran anybody on YouTube that's even really talked about this, but I'm pretty sure there is. I just haven't found any. Okay, so you're under the College of Winterhold, where the Daedric Forge is at. Okay, now, okay, I know some Daedric lore, but I've noticed something weird. Okay, all right, so this is my theory on this, and I kind of got a little shooken by this. Well, not really shooken, but surprised. But it kind of makes sense to me. But at the same time, it's like, is that what really happened to them? Or am I just reaching too far? I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, not enough to know uh, certain things within the timeline or the history in 100% accuracy or whatever. Okay. So anyway, I sat there and I got to thinking for a second. Okay. You're in a Daedric Forge underground of the College of Winterhold. And the only way to get Daedric weapons and armor without 100 or 90 smithing, or I believe it was 90. I think level up to 100 you get dragon. Although Daedric is stronger than dragon's armor. I don't know why. Just ignore that. That's my phone doing that nonsense. Um, but other than that, you're in the Daedric Forge. You're trading in dwemer equipment on inside the Daedric Forge in the underground basement of the College of Winterhold. Okay, the point I'm trying to get across is that okay, I sat there and thought, okay, well, I've noticed something. All the Daedric gods have their own beings. Have their own beings. Hold on just a moment. That was weird. Okay, my bad. I got distracted on a text message or whatever. Um, Alrighty, so anyway, what I was going to say is that all the other Daedric gods in the realm, okay, of course, they like Daedra worshiping people like they're gods or whatever. You got I know they're Daedric princes, but I call them Daedric gods because that's pretty much what they kind of are anyway. They're kind of immortal. You can't really kill them. You can only weaken them, but that causes a lot of power and a lot of people with power to even do that sort of thing. And I mean, of course, yeah. So anyway, that's besides the point. But okay, so and to my knowledge, all the other Daedric gods have their own beings within their realm. Okay. Now I've noticed something. They all have their own separate beings, and they're all different, except for one. Every single Daedric god has this one entity within their whole entire separated realm. Okay? The realm is all different beings separate from each other, except for one. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, well, what are you basically saying? Okay, well, just a thought. The dwemer basically laughed and mocked the Daedra and all the other sort of godly-like beings because they thought they were just not gods. They thought they were just powerful entities that thought they were basically gods or whatever. Okay, so and then they basically the dwemer were so powerful they can read an Elder Scroll without having a problem, uh, without losing their sanity. Basically, they're and the weird thing is if you look at the dwemer. I don't know if this is a like an actual done on purpose design, but if you look at the dwemer and look at the Anunnaki, you can't tell the difference. I think they're inspired by Anunnaki, um, like people or whatever. Which I wouldn't doubt there's some sort of real twisted like theory within that, but you get what I'm saying. So okay, so the point I'm getting across that is there any recorded or any real timeline where the Dromora came from? Why? Okay, so all the Daedric gods have completely different beings within their realm, but why every single Daedric god have the Dromora being? Why do they have them all in their thing? If they're all different gods and their own different deities, they're all separate from each other, but they all talk to each other, but they all have their own separate beings. But if you look at the Dromora, they all have them. So I'm guessing, okay, is there any recorded history of the Dromora ever being a thing when the dwemer were around? See, this is the part I don't know, and I don't think anybody's ever talked about this. And I'm wondering, okay, if you see the Jamora's true origins, they're kind of like elvish beings. They're just demonic, more like they transformed. So I had came up with a theory that what if the dwemer didn't disappear? They just all turn into lesser beings to the Daedric gods because they mocked them. And it does make in sort of sense in my opinion. Because why in the world are you trading dwemer artifacts and equipment to a Daedric forge to get Daedric equipment? Why would they want that? See, the whole dwemer equipment trading for Daedric stuff don't make sense unless it's tied to it somehow. So I thought of, okay, well, if they want dwemer stuff, what if the Dromora wants all their equipment back by trading Daedric stuff in return? Okay, well, if it is tied, well, okay, I know this is just a theory, but is there any proof of recordings and actual lore that the dwemer were around, and also the Jamora? Okay, so is there any Jamora around when the dwemer were there? See, if there is, I would like to know, because then that would disclose my theory. But so far, during the dwemer era, I there's nobody that talks about the Jamora being a thing. They're just the Daedric gods and their own other perturbed beings. The Jamora is not there or even talked about. So I'm thinking when they found the heart of Lorcan and Kakranak and their king, I forgot what his name was, the king of the Dwemer, they all touched it with the tools, and then poof, they're gone. Okay, what if they didn't disappear? They all turned into Jamora. But anyway, that's just my theory. But if anybody could tell me if there's any proof of the Jamora beings been around during the Dwemer, and if there is none, that's a bit suspicious as a whole. Because I looked up at all kinds. They don't talk about, or there's no recordings of the Jamora or any of that matter in their history of in contact. Of course, you got the Chimer and the Dwemer. They turn into dark elves because they were cursed. Now that's right. But have you heard any lore story about a Dwemer fighting a Jamora? No, you haven't, because there is no recordings of it. Not to my knowledge. If there is, I would love to know. But I've noticed ever since the Dwemer disappeared, then that's when the Jamora being became a thing. And I'm like, okay, that's a bit weird. So I'm wondering if the Dwemer have been here the whole time. They're just right under your nose in the Daedric realm. What if they were turned into the Jamora beings that all the Daedric gods have? And they never hardly ever talk of it. If they all have them, they're just like, oh, well, okay, well, I guess we got new beings under us, so I guess they never questioned it, I guess. I don't know. I think it's weird to me. But it all makes sense. Why trade in Dwemer stuff for Daedric stuff in return? Why would they want that? Unless the Jamora, and then the Jamora is the only thing that wears armor like that. With the Daedric, it's shaped like elvish stuff. See, if you look at all the other beings, they're all different. They're nothing like mer or human like figure. The Jamora is the only thing that has 2 legs, 2 arms, like a mer and human would. So I'm just sitting there thinking, well, maybe that's where all the Dwemer went. They're all Daedric beings for all the Daedric gods now. Despite of every single Daedric god has their own beings, and every single one of them are different. But that's the thing. That didn't make sense to me. Why is it they have their own different beings, and they're all different from each other, but they all have the Jamora in their realm? So I'm guessing they all split up, and they all went to the Daedric realms. So that's just my theory. But I mean, it's crazy, but that's probably where the Dwemer are. They're right underneath our noses. We've been seeing them the whole time. They're just twisted and mangled and cursed, and they're lesser beings of the Daedric realm. because if you look at the lore, the Daedric would mock the Daedric beings and the Daedric gods because they wanted a godhood, basically. So maybe they got cursed for believing that they were above the Daedric gods, basically. So that's just my theory. I don't know for sure, but if you can show me any explanation of any dwemer, there is no recordings or any saying that, in my knowledge, that there's dwemer that encountered the Jamora. There is none whatsoever. I haven't found any. If okay, I would love for somebody, if that will be the case, to show me or talk a video about any dwemer encountering Jamoras, because I haven't found any, and I think it's funny that that's been left out and nobody has ever thought of this. So I'm wondering if it's true, if the Jamoras are cursed dwemer, and where they all went to. But that's all. That's it for now for the video. So give a like, comment, or whatever. If you like show me if there is any recordings of the Jamora being a thing, or even appear during the dwemer race, been there in that timeline. Show me, because I have not found no Jamora recordings or any type of tale in the lore that the dwemer have seen Jamoras at all. Period. There is none. If there is, I would like to know. But, alright, later.